Hey guys, I lost the footage prior to this, but I'll just tell you what I used. I used a brown a brown multiliner Copic at 0.3, B12, B16, and B26 for the eyes. And right here as the base, I'm going to be using EOO. It was originally called Skin White, but now I think they called it Cotton Pearl. So with skin, what I normally try to do is I try to work in sections and also in circular movements to minimize the amount of streaks I have in my work. And then also what I try to do, especially with this EOO, since it's so light and since it really works when you go on top of with a second layer, is I'll go in like I'm doing now, and I'll go in and shade a bit to give it more of a realistic look. For skin, I normally use about 4 markers. I think that's about how much I used in this one. So then the next one I'm going to be using is E51 Milky White, and adding a bit more shadows. As you can tell, it gives it a more of like a dimensional look. Here I'm just adding more with the shadows, and then I will fill the shadows with this is RV10. And this I'm just kind of using for the nose and for the cheeks to give it kind of a pink fleshy look. This is E11 that we're going in with for the final shadows. And just with all of those different markers, they just work really well to give a nice light shadow without using too much of a dark marker. Next, I think we're going to be going in with some Peach Puff for the lips. This is just a natural kind of I don't know, like a natural pink look that I like to use. And then again with the E11 just for a minor little chin dimple. Next I think we're going to be going in with some yellows. The yellows that I used were E15, E18, and E17. Right now we're going in with the lightest one, which is E15. This works really well if you just want like the perfect blonde look. And when you guys are coloring hair, try to flick the marker so then it gives you those streaks that kind of help you get that shine in the middle. If you leave negative space, it'll look like a natural shine if you just pay attention to how I'm flicking it. I know it's fast forward and it's sped up, but you can still kind of see how I flick it, the marker tip, to get that nice negative shade shine to the hair. And then just like with the skin, we're going to go in with our second darkest, which I think is E18. And we're going to add shadows going a little bit higher, not fully covering up that gradient or that negative space, but we're just starting to add a bit of the shadows. And since her hood is covering up her hair, then we're going to add some shadows there. And then with this final marker, we're going to kind of stay to the ends of the hair, adding more dark there than anywhere else really. Anything that overlaps or anything like that. I can't remember what I colored next. I think I'm coloring her little black parts on her boobies. This is, I think, N9. It's a really dark black marker. I suggest maybe getting one that's lighter because you can't really shade with this one. This is just like kind of like almost a jet black-ish gray. I don't have a darker marker to shade with it, so I just kind of go over it with just one layer, color it, and then later I'll actually come back to it and give it like a shiny look with my white gel pen. White gel pens, by the way, I use Jelly Roll. They're like $2 a pen and they work really, really well. I bought a more expensive white gel pen and it didn't work well at all. Alright, well, getting back to this, it's really cool because I'm actually going to take the B12 here and I'm going to shade those spider webbings inside of her hood. I'm going to shade them with the B12 to kind of give them that blue look, even though they're outlined in brown, and it just works really well. And just very, very little bit of color. Alright, and then we're going to go in with the RV00 Water Lily. This gives it a nice light pink look, And especially if we go and shade it like the way I did with the, I think it was a RV10, which was the same one that we used for her cheeks. It gives it a nice light pinkish, almost purplish look inside of the, especially with the blue, it adds kind of like a purple hue to it because they're just light colors all around. So that worked out really nice. And for the shadows here, I'm going to be using BV31, which is this pale lavender. Pale lavender really works if you're shading any white clothing because it gives it still kind of looks gray, but it has like a hue, like a purple to it. So it just looks really nice. It gives it a really nice feminine look. And then especially if you go over it with this neutral gray, I think this is an N1, it just blends really well. They both work very well with each other. The gray is just to kind of tone down the purple, so then it looks more of like a natural shade. Alright, and I think we're going to end up wrapping up here quickly. All I'm really going to end up, I think the last thing I do is add a touch more gray, and then a touch more purple, and then we're just going to go in with the white gel pen and add some highlights to some things. So like those black paddings, her eyes, and then I add some to her lips, and then I just kind of add white dots wherever I see fit. Actually, I also add a little black dot for her pupils to make them look a bit more realistic. And that's it, guys. We're all done. Hopefully this helped you figure out how to blend skin tones. I'll leave a list of all of the markers in the description below. Hopefully this was helpful, and I will see you guys in the next one.